Welcome back to the reading vlogs. It is Monday afternoon. It is a really great day, but it makes nice lighting in here, so I'm actually kind of happy about that. It's the beginning of the week. Work is gonna be tiring this week. But yeah, let's start with the reading updates. I continued with Domes of Fire, which is the first book in the Tamale series. I'm not loving it. I don't dislike it either. I think it's like one of those 3-star books where, I don't have an active dislike, but I don't have like an active love for the book. I think most of the problem is that this book is really, really slow and really politically heavy, which I don't enjoy. I like more action. I don't need the focus on politics, to be honest. I think in the other series, there was a bit more evenness. Is that a word? I don't know, I'm sorry. It was a bit more even with like action and politics. This one, there's a lot of action. There isn't a lot of action, there's a lot of politics. What I didn't enjoy in here is that we get a lot more like female characters, which, is a good thing. I personally think so. I'm a little bit afraid. Nero. Nicht die Couch ablenken. Sorry, my dog was licking the couch, which I'm not a fan of. So I told him to stop it, and now he's looking at me like I stopped him from having fun, which I probably did. Whatever. Oh god, I lost my train of thought. I'm a little bit afraid where the ending of the book... Nero! Nein! I'm a little bit afraid where the ending is going for this book, because I'm having a thought that I don't like about what will maybe be coming. And I think it's a little bit dumb. We'll see if it will actually come, because this is what I finish. Well, I will either finish it today or tomorrow, we'll see. But yeah, I also think it's kind of interesting what the like enemies are in this book, or like the army of the enemy that we so far get, because it's a lot of like illusion and not really much like actual enemies, if you get what I mean. So yeah, it's a little bit like, I don't know. I just think it's not like even enough for me with like action and non-action. There's too much inaction in this book for me personally, too much talking. So it's not my favorite. Also, I think like I wrote that under a comment from one of you today, when like from last week's vlog. I just think that the undertone of the Alinium and the Tamale is just a little bit off for me personally. I felt like the undertone of the Belgariad and the Malorian was just a little bit more fitting for my taste, and the undertone in these books kind of feels off for me personally. So I think that is also kind of like changing my mind on the story. I can't even really describe what I mean with undertone, but I mean, if you get the same feeling, maybe you know. But it just feels like, obviously all 4 series are pretty similar when it comes to like the concept of the story. We have like epic fantasy, historical fantasy, and magic and stuff like that. But I feel like they have 2 really different undertones, like the 2 series each. And I much preferred the undertone of the first story. I felt it was a little bit more upbeat, a little bit more, not really funny, but like a little bit more like nicer of an undertone. This one I feel like has more of a, how can I say that? It feels like a colder undertone, like a more like kind of clinical undertone. I feel like the banter and the relationships felt warmer and more inviting in the first series, kind of like that. It's hard to describe for me. I wouldn't even know if I could describe it in German, to be honest, but I'm not good with describing my emotions, if you haven't gathered that yet. But yeah, I don't know, something like that. We'll see. We'll see. I have 2 books after this one, and then I'm actually through with the Eddings books I kind of wanted to read. I don't know if I really read anything else of Eddings, but I will definitely do a reread of the Belgariad. I'm really looking forward to that one already, which is, kind of funny thinking that I'm still reading Eddings, but it is what it is. Let's come to a knitting update. I have quite the update so far. I actually finished, not finished, but I'm at the point where I could sew together the legs of my shorts, and I'm now knitting the waistband. As you can see, I have to close this hole up. I didn't do the best job picking up stitches for the waistband, which is a little bit annoying, but yeah, I'm still, I'm still a beginner when it comes to knitting. I would say I haven't knit that many projects yet, though I don't really describe to the notion of like beginner, advanced and stuff like that. Like if a pattern says it's for like intermediate or advanced, I will still do it because I feel like you can learn everything on the go, but there are things I'm better at and things I'm worse at, obviously, because of missing repetition and actually, learning more about things. But yeah, I'm really liking them. I think they are a little bit shorter than I wanted them to be. I wanted them to sit pretty like high-waisted. I don't think they will be high-waisted, but that's fine. So yeah, I have another 10 rows to go for the waistband because it's a folded waistband, and that is my goal for today, to finish that. Then I have elastic for the waistband that I need to cut and sew together to make like a loop. But to do that, I need to get my sewing machine out, and to do that, I kind of need a little bit more organization downstairs. So hopefully I can finish the waistband knitting so that I can finish like all of the knitting today. And then hopefully I will have enough time to do a little bit more organization downstairs in my knitting, like my library / craft room, so that I can get my sewing machine out tomorrow and finish this project tomorrow. That is the goal. We will see how it's going. Yeah, other than that, I don't know, it's gonna be a hell of a week. We're finishing that one now, and then everything else will hopefully fall into place for this week. Okay, it is Tuesday afternoon now. I am pretty tired from work, but I did finish Domes of Fire. I'm giving it 3 stars. I feel like the ending is a little bit of a cop-out, because you know what they need again now? The thing that they had to search for in the first series, that they were supposed to, like, that they threw away at the end of the first series, because it was too powerful and nobody should ever have it again. Why? Why couldn't they do something else? I don't understand it. I think it's a cop-out. I think it's dumb, to be honest. To be totally honest, I don't like it. It's a personal opinion, I get if other people don't feel like that. I feel like they should have done this different in this series. So yeah, we're gonna go on the search for it again. I mean, we know where it is. I don't know. We will have to get it again to defeat the bad guys this time around. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little bit annoyed, to be honest. I'm still giving it 3 stars because, the characters I like, even though it seems a little bit more stilted. But yeah, I don't think the story is necessary. I think it's a cheap cop-out of a story, to be totally honest, at least what is insinuated in this first part of the series. So we will see how it continues. I'm gonna start with the second part tomorrow. We'll see. I'm not convinced to be honest. I think I will stick with the Belgariad and the Malorian going on forward once I'm finished with the Tamili, and the rereading will only be the first two series, and I think I'm fine with that, to be honest. It is what it is, but I'm still slightly disappointed that I don't like it, so it is what it is. Other updates. I built some Lego today. I didn't buy a new set, which is it's so cool. I found this website. I got a Facebook post for it, which I'm really rarely on Facebook, just to keep in contact with a few people, and I got it recommended to me as a post, and that was a website named Rebrickable, and it's a website where people can upload their instructions to make new sets, and they have a section where they have alternative builds for sets you can buy. And so I own the Lego Bonsai, which I really like the Bonsai, but what got recommended to me by Facebook was an alternative build for the Bonsai to make the Bonsai Treebeard from The Lord of the Rings. And I'm sorry, but I had to build my Bonsai into Treebeard. I really love it. I paid €5 for the instructions to build this, which I'm totally fine with. Most of that goes to the creator of the piece, which I'm really happy with. Rebrickable takes a little bit of a fee, which, fair enough. But yeah, I now have a Treebeard, and he looks so cool. I put Meryn and Pippin on it from the... what is the name in English? In Germany, it's the Bruchtal set. The set, the big one that is standing up there. But yeah, this one will go into my bookcase now, where the Bonsai was standing before it, and it looks amazing. I mean, it's so cool. So yeah, I might search that site for alternative builds for other Lego sets I have that maybe I'm not enjoying that much how they are built right now, because that is one heck of a cool site. And yeah, I'm really enjoying looking at him. So yeah, that was something I did today. And then the last update for the day so far, I'm currently hand sewing together the elastic for my shorts, because I tried doing it with my knitting machine, but I think it needs a really, really good clean, because the what is it called? The thread you use to sew kept sticking in the machine and then ruining the sewing. So I'm hand sewing it. It works fine. I'm not the best hand sewer, but I'm fine with it. And then I did finish the waistband today, which looks a little bit weird right now because it is not finished, but it pretty much gets folded over. This thing gets folded over like this, and then the elastic gets put in there, and then you crochet it closed, which is what I will be doing in a minute. But yeah, I finished the knitting part. They look really unspectacular because they are just simple shorts, and yeah, they fit really nicely. I wanted them to be a little bit more high-waisted. They are not high-waisted, they're middle-waisted. But yeah, I made them too short for that, which was my mistake. So yeah, but I'm still really, really happy. They feel really, really nice. I will show you how they look once I have the elastic in, which I will hopefully have by the end of today. That is the plan at least. And I also cast on my next project, but I only did the first few rows. Just, to already start it, to now continue with the shorts and get the elastic in. That is all that is happening, and yeah, I will see you with an update once the elastic is in and we start the next book. I'm sorry if you can hear the oven, but I'm making dog treats, as always, once a week. But yeah, that is what is happening right now in the background. I can't make the noise go away. I wanted to give an update on the next book we're reading, which is The Shining Ones, book 2 of the Tamili. I think I'm falling out of love with the series. the more I read of it. So it's good we only have 2 books left, this one and the last one. I just don't get Queen Alana. I don't understand her character or anything about her, because everybody is always to like Sparhawk. They are always like, oh, the queen's searching for you, she's screaming, she's throwing a tantrum, she wants to find you. And then Sparhawk goes to her, and then they make this charade of her being annoyed and him being sorry and stuff like that. And then at the end of the day, they sleep with one another, and then everything is fine. And then every time they talk about the queen, it's always like, oh, everybody loves her so much. And it's so weird. Like, everybody is always like, oh, she's complaining, she's annoying, she's getting on our nerves, she's annoying us. And then they're like, oh, everybody loves her. And we get so little of her, and pretty much everything we get of her is her putting on this like fake show that she's being annoyed as Sparhawk. I don't get her. I don't understand her character. I don't like her. We have left her behind, thankfully. And what I think is kind of interesting, but I'm really happy about, we went after the thing that they went after in the first series again. And I'm 100 pages in, and we've already got it. Which is kind of good. Because it's kind of, at least I know that it's not the whole book searching for it again. So yeah, that is the point where I'm at right now. I'm a fourth of the way through the book. So we'll see how this continues. Other than that, I finished my shorts, which I'm wearing currently. They are really, really comfortable. I'm gonna put a picture in here so you can see how they're looking. I had to redo the waistband, like not the complete waistband, just the sewing it together with the, or like it's not sewing, you crochet it together with the elastic inside. I had to do that twice because I did it too snatched the first time, and so the next time I left a little bit more space, and so now it's functioning. They are incredibly comfortable, the shorts. I'm in love with them. I mean, they aren't the most flattering, but they are house shorts. They aren't meant to be worn outside, at least not for me. So I'm fine with that, and yeah, it makes me really happy. And then I finally got the book that I wanted to learn from the library, which I've forgotten the name again. A Restless Truth, the second book in Freya Marska's series, which I don't know if the series has a name, but yeah, it's the second one, which is about the sister of one of the guys in the first one. So that is what I will start tonight, because obviously I got it as an ebook from the library, so I will probably just read it, lying in bed. And yeah, I'm excited to read that one, so that is kind of nice. And yeah, that was kind of everything. I did try reading Divergent yesterday because it was recommended by my library to me, as I was looking through my ebooks. And I have to say, I have no idea how people can read that. The book is just really short sentences. It reads so weird. I don't know, maybe it's just a personal preference, but like it feels really, really stocky, the reading, because the sentences are so short and, stopping. So yeah, I DNF'd that, but like it's not and don't take it officially on my list of DNFs and stuff like that, because I read like 10%, so I didn't read much of it, and yeah, it was just a weird read all around. So yeah, that is, I think, everything caught up. Work is working, as always. And yeah, I will see you tomorrow with the reading update for both books, and we'll see if I have a knitting update. I have started to, like, one cardigan, one sweater, but like you can't see much for both right now, so it's not really worth showing. But yeah, we'll see how it continues tomorrow. Okay, it has been a bit since I checked in with you, which I'm really sorry for. But as you can probably hear, I have a really stuffy nose. I think my allergies just went through the roof, which isn't fun. But yeah, because I don't feel like I'm getting like a cold or anything, so it can pretty much only be allergies, and I have a lot of allergies, so that is the most likely thing. But yeah, my nose is completely like shut, so I'm really stuffy and sneezy, and I'm really sorry. It doesn't sound the greatest. I'm gonna try to cut everything out. This is annoying. But yeah, and then I had the enjoyable thing. I did my workout a couple of days ago, and I pinched a nerve in my back, and that was so painful. So yeah, I didn't check in with you because I just was in pain and my energies were acting up, and it wasn't an enjoyable few days. So yeah, we have a little bit of updates. The first one, let's talk about The Shining ones. I finished it. I don't like this series. I feel so mean saying that, and it feels like insensible to say, like, is insensible the right word? I don't think so. The thing is, this series goes from like the nice bantery series we had with the first two and even the Elenium, and it just makes everything dark and brooding and boring, and we are like we have some revelations that are just so weird, and I just don't enjoy it. I don't think I like it. I don't know why. Why is this so different than the rest what he has written? I feel like this deviates so much from the works of Eddings I've read so far otherwise that it's really irritating. And I can't really tell if it's the book, if it's my opinion, like if I'm so much into, oh, what Eddings writes is like that I can't accept that these books go into a different direction. But I don't like the way the fighting is going. I think it's way too brutal. There's a lot of massacring people in here. The Bellium, the thing that they had to find again, had some revelations that was like, really? Did something have to think up of a new way to use this thing to make it relevant again? It seemed like that. Then we had a scene in here where our queen is like, oh, I was born loving Spurhawk, our main character, which is like the weirdest thing anybody can say. Like, she's like, oh, it made me not have to look for a different husbands, which made it really, really easy. So yeah, I was born loving him. It's bullshit. I'm sorry, but that is bullshit. I don't stand for that. So it is a low 3 stars, I have to say. For me, this is a low 3 stars. I am not enjoying the series. I'm really sorry. I feel bad about it. I don't need to feel bad about it, but I do feel bad about it. I don't know. It's a complex emotion. But yeah, that is where we're at with that one. I did get my library book. I don't know if I've told you that already, but there's a problem with like being on the wait list for 2 months. I'm not in the mood to read it right now. I had a talk with my partner yesterday because he's currently reading the Mistborn series for the first time, the first one, and he's still in the Final Empire, and, you know, he was talking to me about the book and asking questions and, you know, telling where he was and stuff like that, which I love. But yeah, it made me want to read the Mistborn series again, and so I was like, oh, I have the ebook I need to read, and so I can't read that right now, and my partner was like, why not? Why don't why don't you read what you want to read if you obviously want to read it? And you know what, he is totally right. So I started rereading the Mistborn series as my evening book, but that I read in bed. So I'm only 30 pages in, so not far, but I'm enjoying it so much. You know, I think over having this channel, even though, you know, it's just a hobby and I just try to, you know, tell you what I'm doing, you know, it's just sharing my life a little bit. Even though that is what I made this channel for, I think I've slithered a little bit into the reading for other people kind of ways. Like, I still read for myself, but I do think about what might be interesting and not rereading books as often, which is something I have done so much my whole life. I love rereading stories that I already know and that I love. And I put that on the back burner kind of for this channel because I thought, you know, it's gonna be really boring for people. Nobody wants to see that. But it made reading for me a little bit less enjoyable, and I think I need to like turn that around and start more actively hearing like listening to myself what I want to read. So yeah, I will be rereading the Mistborn series because I'm really in the mood for that. And it's gonna be a really slow reread because it's gonna be my evening book, and I don't read that much in the evenings, but you know, I like to read a little bit in the evenings. So that is what I'm gonna be doing. And then I got myself a new book because I had to order something, and you know, I try to order as little as I can on Amazon, but sometimes it's not doable for me because I can't get the things in like my nearer vicinity, and on some days it's really hard for me to drive somewhere else because of my stomach and stuff like that. So sometimes I just have to order things off of Amazon, and I needed the thing on the same day, so I had to do something to get same day delivery, which normally I wouldn't do. But yeah, so I chose a book. You know, if I had to order already, I chose a book. And when I got myself something I had on my TBR, or like my want to buy list for like so long, so I finally got it for myself, and that is Parasite by Myra Grant. If you don't know, Myra Grant is the alias for Sean McGuire, and I read an urban fantasy by her that I really liked, and then I put this one on my wishlist, which this is a book where here everybody in society has these parasites inside of them, and they help you be ultra healthy and stuff like that, so they are seen as something positive. And then from one day to the other, the parasites start hurting the people, and that is what this is about. So yeah, it sounded super cool, so I did get it for myself, and this will also be in the next book that I will be reading, because yes, I do have one more of the David Eddings books that I technically wanted to get through this month, but I need a break from these, even though it is only one left, and I'm really excited for this one, so I'm gonna listen to myself and read this next instead of the David Eddings book, which, you know, it makes a lot more sense, you know, to enjoy what I'm doing here. So yeah, I'm really excited to pick this up tomorrow. So we will start it in this vlog. I don't know, I don't think it's super long. It's 500 pages, so it's not super short, but I think everything I've read by Sean McGuire so far, I would say 90% of the books that I read by her I really liked. The only thing I didn't like is the second book, in like where the first one is Middle Game. I forgot what the second is called. I liked it, but I didn't love it. But yeah, I think that this is the only one so far of hers that I've read that I didn't love. So I have high hopes for this book, and it is something totally different to a lot of the things I've read in recent times. So we're gonna see how this starts tomorrow morning. I am incredibly excited to start it. I'm so sorry for my voice. And then the last thing is I did quite a bit of knitting. I recast on a cardigan for I think the fourth time now, but this time around I cast it on with like a completely size bigger. I think the first one I did was 4mm. This is 5mm, and it makes quite the difference. I need to take this apart still, but this is the one I did before that I need to take apart, and I don't know how good you can see it on camera, but this is the one I'm doing now. It is a lot more see-through and a lot more relaxed because of the bigger needle size, and with doing the bigger needle size, it looks a lot more like the picture that is in the pattern itself. This one looks a lot more like denser, and it does drape as nicely. So hoping that I have like a better gauge now. I'm doing it with these needles, and then I will either do the size M or the size L depending on how it's sitting on me. Obviously I normally would wear size XS or S depending on the top, but I do want this to like sit really comfortably oversized, so I'm gonna go by feeling, you know. But yeah, using the bigger needles, this works up really fast, which makes me really happy. Because it's really enjoyable. And then I do also have started this one, which you can't see much of right now. But yeah, I just can't concentrate on this one right now because I have to start the cables, because this is for a cabled sweater. And to do cables and the increases on here, I need to be really concentrated, and with like my nose and the headaches I have because of everything being like really swollen here. I just don't have the concentration right now. So this one will go on the back burner, and I'm gonna continue with this one. So yeah, that's all for the update. Yeah, I will see you tomorrow morning, and we'll see how Parasite starts. I'm really excited for it. So, turns out it's not an allergy problem. I'm actually getting a cold. It's so annoying. I'm not feeling good. So we're gonna end the vlog rather quickly, to be honest, because I also still need to edit this vlog, which I'm gonna need my energy for. But yeah, let's quickly talk about Parasite. I read the first 80 pages. It is interesting, but it is a rather slow book pacing wise, at least from the beginning. Our main character, she like has this car crash, and she then like is in the hospital, is in a coma, her family's around her, the doctors are like, oh, please let us take her off life support, like you're not doing her any good. And then she wakes up again, and the main story plays out 6 years after that event, and she can't remember anything. She had to learn anything, like all of it new, walking, talking, like English language. She can't really read that good still after 6 years, and she doesn't remember who she is. Like she doesn't remember anything, and so they had to teach her everything again. And she now has this kind of contract with the corporation that her it's called a bodyguard. Yeah, this like parasite that they put into people. Like she now has a contract with those people that they can study her and try to find out what happened, and she gets compensated for that, and yeah, all of that pretty much. And so yeah, we kind of like the first 80 pages are kind of like her everyday life, coupled with things starting to begin. We have so-called sleepwalkers now. I think it's important to mention also, both her father and her sister work in a biomed lab that has like something to do also with the parasites, but I don't think they work for or they might work for the company where she got the parasite from, the bodyguard thing. And then her current partner, her boyfriend, works in a hospital, also primarily in a lab, but he also goes to the hospital and makes runs there. But he doesn't work for the company that she has this parasite from, and he also actually never got the bodyguard technology because he thinks it's weird, but which I think that will play like a bigger role later on. I would actually assume that. And what we have now is that she has to go to therapy, and the therapist seems to want to be something wrong with her, and everybody's kind of like being like, oh, you haven't had your memories back yet, and she's like, no, there's nothing there. And people start sleepwalking. And there was actually like a really big car accident because two drivers started sleepwalking while driving, and instead of braking, they just drove their cars into like a huge amount of cars, so a lot of people died instantly. And then there are the sleepwalkers. She was with her sister at the mall, and then a little girl just stood up and walked, and her mom couldn't stop her. She couldn't talk to her. They didn't really do anything, and they found out later that there were 5 people who were doing that, and they are kind of looking into it because she has the feeling that it's the same thing that happened to her before the accident, because she also drove her car into a different car, and she can't remember why, and so the presumption is that maybe she wanted to kill herself, but it's kind of unrealistic. And so it seems like she may have been sleepwalking as well when she drove her car into that. And yeah, that is the point of the story where we're at right now. So yeah, it is starting rather slow, but it is interesting, and I'm kind of, I don't know, I think our main character is a really interesting main character because of her history and her like big connection to what is happening and what will be happening. So yeah, I am excited to continue with this one, but we'll see when exactly, because yeah, I'm not feeling great. I have like a typical cold symptoms, and I have a hard time concentrating. My eyes hurt, all of that. So yeah, not gonna complain anymore, but yeah, I'm gonna end the vlog here. Thank you so much for watching. It was a really interesting week for me. Hopefully next week will be a little bit more, a little bit nicer, to be honest. And yeah, hopefully the cold will go away pretty quickly. So it doesn't really impede my reading that much more. But yeah, we'll see. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.